Welcome to our Mile High webinar. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles. We look forward to seeing you in August 21st to 23rd in the Mile High City. And you can register if you haven't. If you've been living under a rock and you have not registered yet, go to www.milehighchiro.org. I am more than excited to this morning doing this webinar with none other than Liam Schubel. Liam Schubel almost needs no introduction. A lot of people know him. He has 5,000 friends on Facebook. He has many offices around the world, and he's doing great things for chiropractic. Welcome, Dr. Schubel.
Thank you, Danny. Danny, this just in at CWD headquarters, which is where I'm at. And by the way, I dress this way every day for when I'm in the office here. I wake up actually in this manner. This just in, the total square footage of my combined offices is the size of the city of Antwerp, Belgium. So I just wanted to let you know that. Yes, we just did the studies on it. It were double-blinded studies. There's a lot of evidence base behind it. Well,
you know what Antwerp, Belgium is known for?
Diamonds.
And chocolate.
Oh, very good. I'm hungry. I have to go now. See you.
So you have been at the first two Mile High events, and you're coming out for the third one. I want to ask you, first of all, why are you excited to come out to Colorado for MH3?
Well, Danny, I'm excited just in general. I wake up excited every single day because I see this transformation that's happening within the profession. You know, this chiropractic, and I love your Mile High thing. Like, what are we this year? Revenge of the Jedi or something? What are we doing?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like awesome. So, you know, the idea is that, and you've shown that, and certainly your family has shown that if you could stand up for what you believe in, actually get involved and, get involved politically, get involved in the educational process, you can actually bring about a shift and a change in consciousness. And that's what we're seeing. Gandhi said it, you got to be the change that you wish to see in the world. So we're seeing, let's say, focal points start to light up around the world. I just did Schubel Vision Barcelona, packed house. In Europe, they want this. We're doing Schubel Vision down the Jersey Shore. We already have a tremendous amount of registrations for that, July 24th to 25th. Scott Garber just did Berkshire event, and it was a packed house, and he's already got it packed for next year. And Mile High is on that list of chiropractic events that not only bring you tips, tools, and strategies to be more successful in your office, but open up your vision as to what is possible for this profession, what is possible for the future of this planet, because really we're crucial to the transformation and evolution of the planet, because we're the only doctors in the world that are highly trained to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. And I think Mile High reconnects you with that passion because you're hanging around with other doctors of chiropractic that are doing this on a daily basis. You know, Danny, so many people steer off or veer off the path of chiropractic because they think it's some kind of philosophical pie-in-the-sky ivory tower construct that doesn't have any practical application in practice. And certainly when you go to Mile High, you see doctors that are doing this every single day. They're taking the practical application of TIC, doing it successfully, and as a result, they're living tremendously abundant lives. They're not in this world of, I think you said the other day, this archaic, almost
dark ages.
Yes, dark ages where we're duplicating the same system that caused the people to leave the system and come to us, right? Many people come to us in chiropractic, we're not their first resort, which I wish we were. But, many people come to us because we're their last resort. And it's sad to see that so many people are being trained in chiropractic to, take those people and throw them back out into the street, or even worse, duplicate the failed system that they've already came from.
Yeah, leave that failed system, come over here, and we'll do something similar, not as good, but, we'll dress it up.
We'll do a natural form of the same failed system.
Right, exactly.
As long as it's natural and it fails, then it's okay.
Well, and then we're incredibly unique that way too.
Exactly. And, one of my mentors, Dr. Fred Barge, he used to come into our class, and when I saw him, here was a guy in his late 60s that was wearing an ascot, spoke in this grand Shakespearean thespian style, had a purple beret on, and I just said, you know, and here was a guy who was tremendously successful in practice in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and you know, I looked at that man and I said, here's somebody who really is separate and distinct, somebody who's unique, and somebody who's doing very well in practice. You know, I just had the distinct pleasure, Danny. I was speaking out at the Delt House in Davenport, Iowa, and there was these two blonde young ladies in the front row. And you know, for the first half hour, I'm doing my talk, and I couldn't get a smile out of them. I'm saying, "Oh, I'm right." And
well, that's tough for you to not get a smile. That must be you were working.
My presentation, I'm dynamic. I'm exciting. I'm magnanimous, and so I'm doing the presentation, and finally I start to break through to them, and they're smiling and they're laughing and they're having a good time, similar to what you'll see at Mile High. And at the end, they come up to me and they said, do you know who we are? And I was like, no. Do you know who I am? And they're like, yeah, we just heard your talk. But they were Dr. Fred Barge's, they are Dr. Fred Barge's granddaughter. So how was that cool? So, you know, the point of all this is really that, you know, when you look in the yellow pages under chiropractor, and I just had this issue down in Brazil right now. They're fighting, the physiotherapists are fighting with the chiropractors in Brazil, because the chiropractors in Brazil define themselves in the stupid way that chiropractors, you know, ill-define themselves in the United States of America, and that is musculoskeletal treaters, you know, and if that's what you do, by the way, chiropractic works wonders in that. Nobody's arguing that. You know, musculoskeletal conditions have phenomenal results with chiropractic. Nobody argues that point. But the point of using that as your identity is insanity, because if you're playing that game, even from a marketing strategy, everybody in the world is treating musculoskeletal conditions. You've got orthopedic doctors, you've got musculoskeletal, you know, doctors of all types, whether it be medicine, whether it be natural medicine, whether it be voodoo, whether it be witchcraft, whether it be seances. You know, there's all kinds of people treating back pain and neck pain. That's not unique. What we do that separates us from everybody else, that's our key selling point, what I call our you know, our marketing strategy, strategic point, if you will, would be that we're the only doctors that know how to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation. And in doing that, we allow the person, no matter what the symptomatology, no matter what the condition that they're suffering from, or as a child, you know, that's not suffering from anything, we allow them to express their optimal life potential. We allow their ability to innately adapt, be optimal. And that's, I mean, that's what we're really all about. If you can imagine this, you know, we kind of like have our fingers on the dimmer switch of humanity. I mean, we have the ability to light up the whole world with its optimal potential. I mean, if you look at the news, if you can imagine all the insanity that you see going on in the news, if you can imagine if we could do a, you know, rebirth, like, you know, hit rebirth and go back to that person who's doing the insane activity on the planet. We go back to Back to the Future, right? We go back to where they were born, right? And we start getting them adjusted. I am telling you, the outcome would be unique, would be distinct. But instead, we have this opportunity for people to come into us and make this change. And instead, what we do to try to just be accepted by, you know, the status quo, we repeat the same insanity. And then, so of course, if we repeat the same insanity, we can't expect a different result. And therein lies the crux of the issue in chiropractic right now. We're starting to take our power back, and Mile High is one of those focal points where that happens. And you really need to be there so that you can get on fire with this message. But not only that, learn the tips, tools, and strategies that you need, the real world things to make it happen. I mean, I know you want more abundance in your life. I know you want to be happier in practice. So as Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. Why wouldn't you make the investment and go hang out with other doctors that are doing that on a regular basis? I mean, I remember, Danny, when I first started in practice, I saw a doc, you know, my thing was volume, right? And volume's not for everybody, but for me, that's what it was. I really wanted to see a lot of people. And so, you know, I found a doctor that was, Dr. Ray Page was seeing 500 a week using the Gonstead system. And I just said, hello, Ray Page, I'm your shadow. You know, everything you do, everything you say, everything you think, I want to know it. I want to be that person that sees 500 a week. And boom, in 3 months, I'm at 500 a week. And then I realized, okay, I need to have a different mentor to get to a different level. And I started to, listen to guys like Schiffman, seeing 5 million people a week over in South Bend, Indiana. And I just said, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be about. So you just model, you model success. It's really no secret, Danny. And we are in the business of success. I mean, I'm coaching doctors from all around the world. And the common things I see that are, you almost could write a cookbook. I mean, okay, you're not doing well in practice, you're struggling. Here's what you need to change with your mindset. Here's what you need to change with your procedure. Here's what you need to change with your daily actions. I mean, it's cookbook. It's not some magical construct that people need to grasp hold of. It's not that we're lucky, because believe me, if you looked at the story of my life, you wouldn't say luck. You would say tragedy and triumph through persistent action. Well, and keeping this head on straight.
Right. And see, this is the thing. This weekend, Mile High, I didn't want to say, I want to create a seminar. I didn't wake up one day and say I did that. I said, you know what? I want to make a difference in this region. And I wanted to bring people like you that can bring strategies that people need, and also represent a movement of a platform for the IFCO, for Sherman College, for the ICPA, for the ARHP, and all the other alphabet soup of the organizations we like the Foundation for Tibial Subluxation Research, so we could attract people that want to get dipped in that and then support those and give that back into chiropractic, right? Because there's not enough of that going on.
Exactly. I mean, if you look around, and you had a good post there on the Mile High group the other day, and I would suggest maybe you could share that information maybe down here on the bottom, how to get involved with the Facebook Mile High, because there's some really great conversations that happen there. And, one of the comments were, people were talking about the vaccine issue, which is not a chiropractic issue, but the vaccine issue is there, right?
Right.
And it's an important issue if you're interested in natural health for your family. And, people were saying, it's so ridiculous, these politicians, what they're doing. And I'm saying to myself, yeah, and you're the first person who's absolutely not involved in politics. How do you think anybody in politics gets to, all the people in politics that are doing the things that we don't like that they're doing. That could be on a chiropractic board, right? This stinks that I have to take CE credit in, AIDS testing or something because I'm a chiropractor. Or, I have to take nutritional classes because I'm a chiropractor. But I can't take a philosophical course, or I can't take a practice management course to improve the quality of my, my attention for the practice members.
Exactly.
All that is determined and decided by a group of individuals that just stood up and said, hey, I want to control my life. I want to control the future of my profession rather than sit around and complain and cry and moan on Facebook. And so, that was one of the things that I saw in that thread was, hey, listen, stand up, get involved. And you've had great experiences doing that in Colorado. I mean, you really, just in a question of a year or two, totally shifted the status quo in Colorado.
Grassroots. You can make a difference grassroots. Okay. Now, people want you work with doctors around the world. You employ currently something like 30 chiropractors, right?
Yeah.
So you've seen people at all levels of performance. What have you seen as the crucial handful of tools that people need to succeed? Okay.
It's really easy. It's three things. And when I say easy, these are things you need to work on. But I mean, chiropractic is simplistic. Success is simplistic. It's just, you don't do the bare minimums. That's where you have the problems, right? So The first thing is mindset. You show me how you're thinking, I'll tell you how you're expressing your life. Because right now, you are the sum total of all the thoughts and actions that you've taken up until this point. So you're an expert into thinking your way into where you're at right now. So if you want to make a change, you got to start thinking differently. One of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The whole book is based on the principles of abundance, whether it be spiritual abundance, financial abundance, abundance in your practice, abundance in your life with your kids. It's all about the way you think about things. And so there's a certain chiropractic way of thinking, and that's one of the things we expound upon in Mile High. The second thing, and I would say this, is communication. That is,
what?
Yeah, right. Communication, right? So now, B.J. Palmer said the weakest link in the chiropractic profession is the chiropractic adjustment. I have to disagree. Now, I do that respectfully because it's BJ Palmer. The weakest link right now in the chiropractic profession, what I'm looking at is communication. I had this conversation with Dr. Irene Gold, and I asked her the same thing. You know, her husband, of course, Dr. Reggie Gold, one of the greatest communicators in chiropractic. And I said, what do you think is the, you know, you're constantly with these students, you know, in the national boards or getting ready to graduate. What do you think the weakest link is? You know what she said?
What?
Communication. So, you know, I've got as my backup Irene Gold. You know, she's got my back, which is pretty good. But, you know, I will tell you this. And I just did a college tour. I was in Logan. I was over at you know, Davenport. I spoke at the Delta House. I was in Atlanta at Life, and I went to Cleveland. I had a great. And if you want to talk about that a little bit, I had a great talk with Dr. Carl Cleveland III, you know, the president of Cleveland Chiropractic College. But one of the things I noticed at each one of those schools, you know, I was talking about the principles of communication. The students were just mind blown. I mean, just. Wow, we've never heard this in the 4 years of chiropractic college. And by the way, it's not their fault. My good friend Dr. Judd O'Grady often talks about the CCE. You know, I don't, because I'm on the board of Sherman College of Chiropractic, and we're committed, you know, to excellence in CCE accreditation. But my friend Judd O'Grady seems to always like to talk about the CCE. And one of the things that he was saying was that, you know, the chiropractic college program is designed right now under the CCE system to train people to take a medical exam, which is the boards. And so what he says, my friend John O'Grady, who's the co-author of my smash hit book, Cast to Be Chiropractors, what he says about the CCE is that really, in part, it's that education or the poverty of an education, in his opinion, that is causing doctors of chiropractic to fail. And it's very sad to see that they're coming out with $200,000 or more student loans. They don't know how to communicate chiropractic, right? Because they've never had any courses in it. That's not tested on the national boards. They barely know how to adjust because that's not tested on the national boards. Right. And their mindset is one of musculoskeletal treatments because that is, you know, what the focus of that education is at most schools. So Dr. Judd O'Grady says if we're going to, you know, make a change, we've got to start getting involved in the educational system. And I know that's why, you know, Danny, you're involved with the board at Sherman College of Chiropractic. I am. And the people watching this program, okay, you might not you may not be ready yet to serve on a board at a chiropractic college, but most certainly you could start planning a visit every once in a while to speak to the students. They would love to hear from you, what it's like in the real world of chiropractic practice, to share your tips, tools, and strategies to make the place better. Also, you can be involved in the future of the profession. And there's two ways you can do it. For example, through Sherman College of Chiropractic, we have a way that you can financially contribute to Sherman so that you can make our schools stronger so that we can better serve and educate our students and produce a higher quality graduate that will go back out into the profession and maybe be in your community and maybe be on your state board. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a Sherman graduate on the state board who understood what chiropractic is and why we're here in the first place, and that was the person that you came across when you were called before a state board? So you have an opportunity to support Sherman College financially through our Regent program, which I think is like about $100 a month or so. It's very little. And then the second thing is, you can get involved in the ROAR program, reach out and recruit. And I know every college has a program similar to this. And I just saw a doctor did you see that doctor that I posted on Facebook, Dr. Stephanie?
Yeah.
She's fantastic. And she just did a program for high school students. And she talked to them about chiropractic and the future career. And you know what the comment was? Wow, this is a hell of a lot better than prescribing drugs. This,
yeah, I saw that.
I'd like to be in, right? I mean, and that's the shift. That's the shift we have to make. And so, you know, you could be a ROAR doctor and just say to your practice members, you know, the young ones that come into the office, hey, you know, you like to help people, you're looking for a career, maybe you should check out chiropractic. This would be a great career for you, and give them the information for Sherman College of Chiropractic. I know I'm really excited, Danny. I'm sorry, I'm all, you know, pumped up here on ginger tea, but I got to tell you, engine tick is that. You know, coming up, we have Sherman Lyceum coming up in, a week or two at the end of April, beginning of May. And it's going to be very exciting because we have potential chiropractic students from all over the world that come on campus And I'll tell you, you make it to Sherman College. If you haven't been there lately, go see what we're talking about. You will be a supporter of Sherman forever once you step on that campus, because you're going to see something unique. And I know, because I travel all around the world to Chiropractic College campuses. Other than maybe New Zealand Chiropractic College and Barcelona Chiropractic College, I have not seen, and by the way, there's other chiropractic colleges that are great, but I have not seen this level of excitement from a student body since when I was in school with Sid Williams back in the early 90s at Life, when DE was explosive, and when you graduated and you knew. I'm telling you, you graduate now from Sherman College, you know that with my heart, my hands, my mind, I can take over the world with tick. There's no question in your mind. I see so many schools, even graduating from vitalistic colleges, that their attitude is, I don't know what I do. Do I do nutrition? Do I do physiotherapy? Should I do foot baths? Should I, put them on a biomat? I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing over here. I guess I just do things natural to help the person, Right. Well, listen, you don't need if you want to help people with natural things, you don't need a $200,000 degree at Chiropractic College. I heard Matt McCoy say this last week. That's it. But if you want to be able to detect, analyze, and adjust vertebral subluxation and transform the world, because you got your finger on the dimmer switch of humanity, well, then come on and join us in the chiropractic community. We're ready to take over the world with tick. We just need you.
And you know what? You know how you said you'd like to go to a school and like help a student, right? And go and speak to students. When you're around students, doesn't it get you excited? Like when I'm around students at Lyceum or at a seminar, and when the students come to Mile High, it gets me excited to be around their energy too.
Well, yeah, Danny, because that's our future, and I see myself in them. I mean, it was only a short time ago, 20 years, that I was sitting in that front row listening to Fred Barge, and I think about what would have happened to my life if people like Fred Barge hadn't been there, if people like my good friend and co-author of my smash hit book, Cast to Be Chiropractors, Judd O'Grady, if he wasn't sitting in the audience with me there and said, "Hey, Schubel, you look lost. You look like you need some help." If it wasn't for him, and I got to tell you, Danny, every time I go to speak, there are literally students that come up crying, and it's not because my talk sucks. It's because I've moved them to their core being, and I've connected them back to the reason they got into this torture chamber called chiropractic education. And you lose sight of that. You lose sight. And by the way, there are docs that are watching this right now that have lost sight of that passion as well in their practice. They're going
because they need their why. Because they need their why. Their
why has become, how do I build insurance? Oh my God, this is more expensive. Oh my, it's a lack mentality. It's going, there's only, insurance is paying for less and less. I got to find out more ways. It's become, how do I make money rather than how do I serve people? And I got to tell you, you got to learn the tools to combine those two. You got to learn how to serve people and make money at the same time. But sadly, people have focused. I've seen so many chiropractors that are in these doldrums, and their practice is going down and down and down because their only focus is making money. And I'm telling you, your nonverbal communication is ratting you out. The people can see that you're looking at them and going, "Oh, hello, Dr. Knowles. Nice to see you there, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Billy, huh?"
Because there's this thing called a service industry, right? So chiropractic is in a service industry. So there's service and there's industry, and those can come together. They're and work for good and not be two separate things, right? Absolutely.
One of my biggest mentors, Dr. Sid Williams, used to say, you have the giving, loving, and serving hand, and you have the business hand, and the one hand should never see each other. In other words, when I'm in active practice and I'm taking care of somebody, the finances, I don't know if they're paying $0 or $1 million. No matter what the price is, it's not going to pay for the service that I'm going to give them.
Right.
But I have somebody that is going to make sure that we get paid. But that doesn't have a relationship with me directly. And when I talk to that person, I am focused on giving, loving, serving, and inspiring them. They are the reason for my existence. If we don't have practice members, what are we doing here on the planet? I mean, really, as doctors of chiropractic, you're only as good as the people that you serve. And again, I talk about the amount of people. I love to see volumes of people, but not everybody's like that. You know, you can see less people, but give a different quality of service. There's you know, I'm not one of those guys like, oh, you're seeing 200 a day or 100 a day, but I personally like to see volume, so that's what I talk in, you know, in my world. But
Right.
But certainly you need to be in a position where you are inspiring people to refer to your office, because as we all know, referrals are the best practice members.
Right.
And people are not going to refer to you if they're uninspired, and they won't be inspired if your nonverbal communication is all about the money, man. I'm
Right.
telling you, they can smell it, they can
Right.
feel it.
Right.
You're not fooling them. I don't care if you got the white jacket and the tie choking off your carotids. That's not telling me that you care about me and you love me. And Danny, that's one of the unique things in how I teach people in my coaching and mentor programs is the first thing I want to get the person back is to being a human being.
Right.
You know, we've lost that humanity. We've become a country of, you know, technocrats.
Right.
We want to know, hey, how do you see a lot of people? Hey, how do you build the insurance company? Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you hire a CA? How do you train them? You know,
Right.
and those are important. Systems are important. But we've forgotten the why. And I'll tell you, all the big businesses on the planet, if you look at them, their main focus is the why. I was just
Oh,
this
yeah,
morning,
it's the first
Danny.
thing they advertise. The first thing they put out is the why.
Danny, I was just this morning at my CWD car dealership, which, as you know, is Audi. And I'm at Ray Catena. And by the way, Ray Catena in New Jersey, the Audi dealership, today they were having a big celebration. They're bringing in 50 or 100 different dealers from all over the United States. Maybe the dealer in Colorado there, your dealer, is coming to see Ray Catena because nobody does it like Ray Catena.
Right.
So in other words, he's an Audi dealership. So you could just say, oh, well, it's just another Audi dealership. Not Ray Catena, man. I had Ray Catena for my Lexus.
Right.
And it's just like from the moment you walk in, you are treated as the most special customer on the planet.
Right.
You can't. They tell you, oh, it's $5,000. You go, it was worth it. I don't care what it is.
Right.
You know, Ray, do whatever you want to my car.
Right.
I trust you. I know you love me. I know you want to help me. I know you're in it to serve me. Awesome. And I know I'm going to have to pay for that. But I love that service because I know I could get cheaper elsewhere, Ray. But I couldn't get the service I get with you.
We didn't get you, and the one is get you, right?
That's the deal, man.
Exactly.
That's the deal. So we've got to learn in chiropractic how to be that top-level servant.
Right.
That top-level servant. By the way, that top-level servant gets to charge a top-level premium for their services.
Exactly.
And people are happy to pay for it.
Exactly. Totally. Liam, I am so excited for you to come out to the Mile High City, to Colorado. We'll see you then, August 21st to 23rd, 2015, www.milehighchiro.org. And you are just a superstar helping so many people, and thank you for your service to chiropractic.
Thank you, Danny. I'm very excited to be at Mile High, and I'm very happy and grateful for the sacrifice that you and your family have made to make Mile High happen. For those folks who might be interested in getting a little bit more information about Schubel Vision Worldwide and our products and services, you can go to www.schubelvisionworldwide.com. I'm sure that's going to be across the screen here. www.schubelvisionworldwide.com. You want to connect with your passion? I would suggest you go on Amazon.com right now, buy my book, Has to Be Chiropractors. It's a smash hit. You're going to love it. I'm going to tell you, once you start to pick it up, you're not going to be able to put it down, and it's going to reignite your passion. And get your butt to Mile High. It's going to be great. Can't wait to see you there and spend some time taking pictures together and autographing books and jumping around and being the great chiropractors that we are, recognizing our blessings, because we are the only doctors in the world that liberate human potential, and then taking that blessing and accepting the responsibility to make a change in the world. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I think I've heard of that book somewhere before, so I'm going to go look that up right now. I think I've heard it.
It's a smash hit. You're going to love it.
Thank you, Dr. Liam Schubel. We'll see you soon. Have an awesome day.